Alright, folks, welcome back. Sheepdog Smokey here. And I know I'm a little over a week past due for all of these, but I'm probably going to anger both sides of this issue with my review of Wonder Woman 1984. First of all, there are spoilers ahead. If you've not seen it and plan to, and don't like spoilers like I don't, click away. Come back later. I'll probably anger you with the review. That said, sorry about that, I have to start off with a comic book geek moment, if you will. Before I get going on all that, the normalcies, make sure you're subscribed so you're aware of all these videos that are off schedule, notifications on, give it a like for the algorithm, share it so other people can get mad at me on this one. I'm really hoping that we get a conversation going here. But to go for my comic book geek moment. In comics, and there's a couple of things about Gadot's portrayal of Diana that I bring up, but are extremely minor as far as DC movie canon. First of all, primarily what we see in print canon is that Diana, Bruce, and Cal are all contemporaries. They're all within a few years of each other. Now, movie canon has split that with Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Superman Returns, the new Wonder Woman movie, where Bruce is in his late 50s, early 60s, Cal is in his early to mid 30s, and Diana is well over 100 years old, having been a young adult during World War I. I can forgive this because of Cal and Diana being virtually immortal. Okay, by the time Cal and Diana meet, it wouldn't matter if he was 100 and she 300. They would still be virtually the same as they are when they meet in Justice League. Bruce looks like that character may be getting a retcon with Pattinson's movie, although that may be a flashback, we'll have to see. But Bruce being older is really kind of irrelevant, because with the Justice League, Bruce is basically there to strategize, provide funding, provide gadgets for people, and maybe beat up a few bad guys. And as we saw with Justice League, we've now got the armored Bruce, basically Bruce as Iron Man. So I can forgive that. The other, and this one is so minor as to barely mention, but her height. And they fixed this in the movie. Gal Gadot is 5'10", possibly 5'11", if I misremember that. Affleck is 6'4", Cavill is 6'1". So with the heels they put Gadot in, she is easily 6 foot, 6'1". She doesn't have to be muscular. Now, yes, I understand in the 70s and 80s with Linda Carter is a very muscular woman. She is definitely very athletic, but more on the side of, she's physically strong. She's a beautiful woman, was then, still is now. Gadot has the physique of a runner or a swimmer, very lean. But we don't need the physique on Diana or Cal. They could look like 90-pound weaklings and still lift a tank, because their strength is not from their physical body. Cal's is from the Yellow Sun, Diana's is from Amazonian lineage. The other departure from canon, which we got in the first Wonder Woman movie, is that she is the daughter of Zeus. Now, you could construe canon where, in the 2009 animated movie, where we see Hippolyta sculpt the child, give it a bit of her blood, and lightning strike it, we could construe that to be Zeus actually making her his daughter, instead of just bringing the clay to life. But in this movie, either Hippolyta and Zeus had an affair, or Hippolyta is not really Diana's mother, more akin to Hercules growing up with human parents, thinking they were his parents, until learning he's the son of Zeus. Knowing Zeus from, as much as I've read on Greco-Roman history, Zeus or Jupiter, The meme of Zeus, I'm going to go hit that, and everyone's saying, no, don't, and he says, too late. Zeus was a philanderer. He would sleep with anything female. He would turn himself into a goat and have sex with a goat. Zeus is basically Loki if he was the Allfather. It's just that bad. Now, Ares having killed all of the other gods is a very large departure from canon. Even with the New 52, the New Gods arc that we got with Gods and Monsters, I think? I don't know. Where we have the new gods. The old gods are still there. Zeus, Hera, Ares, Aphrodite, all of them. In one print that I actually read, she got the lasso from Hestia directly. She got her gauntlets from Hephaestus directly, and so on. In this, they were given to the Amazons, and being the daughter of the queen, she gets them. I've seen stories where one god will kill another, and as Ares said in the first movie, only a god can kill another god. So, bringing that in, to me, is just a true, this movie is its own canonical universe. We can't compare it to animated movies or print. With that in mind, we have to look at this as basically its own thing. Now, I'm not really going to discuss the mid-credit or end-credit scene from the movie other than to say it was a nice nod to Wonder Woman's past and didn't change the movie in one way for me, but I liked it. Now, this is the point where, if you're still with me and don't want spoilers, this is the point where you need to stop. I'm going to make a lot of people angry if they don't, because here's where I start spoiling Wonder Woman 84. We've wondered since the trailer dropped, how is Steve Trevor back? Now, friends of mine and I have talked about stuff like this for several years, a lot of years in some cases. Friends of mine from high school, 30 years ago almost. When you're dealing with Olympian gods, when you're dealing with magic, so on and so forth, quite literally anything can happen. This is not the magic of Robin Williams' genie, where he can't make anyone fall in love, he can't bring people back from the dead, and so on and so forth. No more wishes, none of that. This is true, anything you want. But, unlike other movies and stories where people get wishes, save perhaps Wishmaster, that series, your wish has consequences. We first open up with Diana meeting up with Dr. Barbara Minerva. Love the name, as it is a nod to the goddess Minerva, although that's been known for a while. And I think Kristen Wiig played the part very well. I would have taken it a different way, because in animated TV shows and animated movies, even Cheetah will pause because she realizes Diana is not lying to her at any point. Diana is, in many ways, still very much a child when it comes to certain things. She is an Amazon. She does not lie to people. Has that in common with Kal-El. And Barbara knows this, but her corruption means that she knows it, but basically doesn't care. Now, Minerva is an overlooked, overworked, underappreciated genius. She is Dr. Barbara Minerva, gemologist at the Smithsonian in this one. So, very much a necessary part of that institution, but people just kind of abuse her for her knowledge. The first wish we see is Diana. Actually, no, not the first wish we see. The first wish we see is the idiot who wishes for coffee. Cannot help but wonder what that cost him. Then we have Diana And we don't hear her wish, but we all know what it was. Steve. Minerva wishes for power, for prestige, for people to love her. And then we get to Maxwell Lord, who wishes to become the Dreamstone. And this to me tells me that they specifically brought in Maxwell Lord. And they brought him in at what would be the beginning of his career in DC Comics, before he actually is the global billionaire, philanthropist, whatever you want to call that character. He knows that for every wish granted, the Dreamstone takes something. Diana wishes for Steve, loses her powers. Minerva wishes for power, prestige, and all of this, loses her humanity. He is going to lose his entire world. He's going to lose his son. And he manipulates this. We see it in the movie where the Egyptian king wishes for the original borders and no one to be able to get in, and so on and so forth. Lord says, I'll take your oil, but it's not his oil, so he takes his security detail. He takes power from the president. He takes health from people. He is embodying the Dreamstone. The only difference being he's verbalizing what he will take. And in some cases, it may not be what is most precious to the person. You look at the president in this movie, and what's most precious to him may very well be his family. But Max takes power from him, which may not be his most precious thing. We know that what's most precious to Diana is her ability to protect others, and that is her powers. Minerva values her humanity and her knowledge and her spirit, and she loses that. I don't think this movie was bad in the overall sense. I would have done many things differently. I loved the opening scene with young Diana and the contest and the lesson about cheating and lying and so on. The portrayal, the portrayal at the end where she is really embodying that pure innocence that she has, where she's making her impassioned speech to renounce wishes, and Lord says, why would I? And she says, I'm not talking to you. She's using the lasso of truth attached to his ankle to reach the world. And we all who've seen the movie, and those still with me, know that this works. And everyone renounces their wishes, even Lord, ultimately undoing all of the damage. We even get a hint that that Minerva renounced hers, although we'll see. I don't agree that the Dreamstone is a MacGuffin. A MacGuffin is something just integral to the plot, if I'm remembering my movie terms right. The Dreamstone is a launching point for this entire thing. It is integral to the plot, but not the center of the plot. The center of the plot is human nature. The center of the plot is Diana learning the value of truth and the value of love and the value of power. I would have shot several scenes differently. I would not have shown, cows or things like that. But very little. I don't agree with people saying this is a woke remake. It's not. Diana is very much the epitome of a strong, independent woman. Watch the 2009 animated film where Steve crashes on the island, not during World War I. They ultimately decide that he is to be returned, and he tries to get her drunk so he can take her home. She realizes this, and she doesn't like it. She is realizing that there are good people and there are not so good people, and ultimately she does fall for Steve, just like we saw in the first Wonder Woman movie. But it's not woke. Look at the actual legends and histories of the Amazons. The Amazons were a warrior race of all women. This is not anything new. This has been around for a long time. Uh, you could say that it was first dreamed up to empower women, or it was first dreamed up by a man who dreamed of an island full of beautiful women. We don't know why or when or how it first came into legend and myth. But Themyscira is very much based on a very old myth of Amazons who were given basically immortality and strength and battle prowess by the Greek gods to defend the earth. And they didn't change any of that. The Amazons don't like men. And in that, they're saying mankind. Okay, not biological males. They don't like mankind, the world of men, the outside world. And we see that throughout print, animation, and even the live actions. I don't know that I would have set this movie in the 80s. I understand why. I mean, 1984, this is approaching the end of Reagan's first term. Reaganomics had put the U.S. at the top economically. We were flourishing. I was 7, so I do remember that, you would ride down the street with your parents, or you'd be walking to or from school or wherever. Fairly regularly, you'd see people that were doing upgrades to their house, or they'd got a new car, or somebody got a pool. Taxes were low. People were not having to put off things. Vacation was a thing, not staycation. And it, in this movie, is portrayed as the decade of greed, which I don't agree with, but a lot of movies portray it that way. But it was another era when the idea of keeping up with the Jones. Your neighbor just got a brand new car. Don't you deserve one too? Maxwell Lord is a used car salesman. That's what he will always be. Life is good, but it could be better. And I'm going to tell you how, and how is spend money with me. Or by the end of the movie, how is give up your health or your life or your strength to me. It's just who he's been. Now, whether the Dreamstone was a product of the God of Lies or the Duke of Deception, however you want to do this in canon, is not revealed yet. Probably won't be until either the third or maybe beyond the third Wonder Woman movie. It is interesting, though, that so far, Diana has not returned to Themyscira. We know it's still hidden. And that was done by Zeus off in antiquity to protect the Amazons after they had been enslaved and had to lead a revolt. In print, Themyscira is mobile. Now, in most canon, Themyscira is always somewhere in the Aegean. It is magically protected, so even shipping lines and so on just magically just get diverted. It's just the way it is. Kind of a toned-down Bermuda Triangle effect. Instead of the triangle with its legend of people die when they go here, it's just we just went around. I just wanted to go south by 20 miles. No one knows. No one really cares. At some points in print canon, Themyscira has been in the center of the Bermuda Triangle. And, that's just Greek gods' powers, whatever those may be. I enjoyed the movie, though. We watched the first Wonder Woman last night, my parents and I. We watched this one tonight while my nephew built a toolbox. And we enjoyed it. I mean, having the cutscene with Linda Carter, where she is, I forget the name they gave, just a moment. To me, her coming back as Asteria is just a nod to the fact that without Carter, we probably wouldn't have these movies. We probably wouldn't have had Wonder Woman as big a role as she's played in print, in television cartoons, in animated movies. At least not at this point. It would have taken off at a later time. I can tell you, I've seen the Lost Pilot where Adrian Palicki played Diana. And Palicki is... she's just not right for Diana. She's great for Mockingbird in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But as Bobby Morse versus as Diana Prince, they're just two different characters. And Palicki's not right for it. And it had bad writing and bad shooting and so on and so forth. It's out there if you want to look it up. Gadot plays it perfectly. And aside from the insanity of people complaining of why she's playing Diana, it's like, well, find me a real-life Amazon to play an Amazon. Otherwise, give up the crap. I did think it was funny when someone said she shouldn't play Cleopatra because she's not Egyptian, and Gadot returned with, well, Cleopatra was Macedonian, which is true. That's almost as funny as Rami Malek having to explain to someone when he was cast as the pharaoh in Not at the Museum that he was born in Egypt. He is actually Egyptian. That one was funny. But I didn't see a lot of politics in this. Okay? We don't know which party the president was. Okay? They didn't make it Reagan. So unlike The Dark Knight Returns, Dark Knight Returns Parts 1 and 2, where Reagan is the president, it's set in the 80s, we have Reagan. This president, we don't know his party. We don't know any political preferences of anyone shown in the government. So there was nothing there about Democrats good, Republicans good, Democrats bad, Republicans bad. It wasn't there. And there's a lot of movies that have gone there. And they make me walk out and want to demand my money back. Because that is twisting a story for a political motive and destroying the story to do it. This movie didn't do that. No, this is not a women are amazing, men are bad story. Maxwell Lord has always been a male character. The Duke of Deception, or the God of Lies, has always been a male character. Zeus is male. Hera is bad. Hera is a woman. Hera is an insanely jealous, vengeful, very much a I'm going to kill you because my husband looked at you figure. That seems pretty bad to me. I mean, Zeus just kind of turns his head, the whole easily distracted boyfriend meme. It wouldn't be Hera scowling at Zeus. It would be Hera hurling a dagger at the woman Zeus had the temerity to look at. I mean, it's that bad. So you can point to Aphrodite as the goddess of love and the god of war is evil. Well, Hera is not someone you want angry because she'll just kill you instead of just get mad. There's nothing sexist about it. Zeus is a philanderer. I mean, Hera has every right to be mad at him, but you don't go after the woman he seduced, you go after him. And we didn't get anything political out of this movie. Steve played the part perfectly. He understands that Diana is an Amazon. When there's literally a point in the movie where he tells her, go ahead, because he knows how strong she is. And he knows that she's just going to roll in and start kicking butt. And she does at first. And then as he realizes she's losing her powers, that's where you get him telling her she can save the world, but not as long as he's here. That is Steve Trevor to a T. I mean, at the very beginning, Steve is an island full of gorgeous women have landed in paradise. Very much smitten by Diana. But he's not a bad person. And we saw that in Wonder Woman. We see it in Wonder Woman 84. We saw it in the '09 animated Wonder Woman. It's just canon at this point. The only thing these movies have done, two things that are not canon that I really, really want them to go back and show. In canon, Hippolyta was very much against Diana leaving the island. They had decided they should return Steve to his people. But Hippolyta wanted someone else to do it. She was leaning towards Antiope or anyone else. But they held a contest, Diana won, and she agreed, and Diana was sent to the world of men to return Steve to his people. The other thing is Diana regularly returns to Themyscira. She regularly returns and sees her sisters and competes and trains and sees Hippolyta and all of that. And so far they've done none of it other than flashbacks. Who knows, maybe the third installment will give us something where we get some semblance of return to canon. But I have geeked out entirely long enough. Let me know what you think. As always, be civil. Yes, this is going to be a geek fight in the comments. I expect a lot of passion because I know that the community is very passionate, and it is three-pronged. You love the movie, you hate the movie. It was okay. I liked it. That's where I stand. I'm not going to ask for my 2.5 hours back from watching it. There are some movies out there that I've watched where I'm like, holy crap, this is horrible. And I'll stop in the middle and I'll never think of them again. I actually kind of enjoyed this. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Now, like I said, just be civil. Make sure you give the video a like if you liked it so the algorithm knows. Make sure you tell all your friends about it, share it so that we can widen the geek fight, and make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so that, like this video, you're aware of all new content as it posts. Until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.